Welcome back to Runeterra Academy Extracurricular Activities, week number 4. I am PVS, joined here with Red and Rednick. Welcome back to the stream here.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Glad to see you all. Glad to see everyone back.
Of course. It's great. I know everyone's always hyped for the show, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's just jump right into it. We're just gonna start with senior, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what we're gonna do. So, just a reminder: the power rankings are an average of what me and Red both pick. So on the left is their overall ranking, quote unquote. So starting off with senior, we have Akuma Blades in first, Nightless Esports tied with OG Wildcard at second, CPP at fourth, G7 Mirage down 4 spots at fifth, Team Ambition Glory at 6th, Puds at 7th, and Redbird Club Varsity at 8th.
And I think the big storyline of this is that G7 Mirage fell off. Everybody watches Akuma Blades now plus ratio. I mean, that loss was just unexpected, I guess. I think that's the only fair thing to say. And I want to point out that the chat is so stupid. That Nightless Esports beat G7 Mirage twice that week. They beat them once in Legends Esports, and then they beat them once here. So very interesting to see that they're literally just doomed now. They can't even make playoffs. Nobody should pay attention to them anymore. Probably worst team in senior. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, we've never been wrong, so I believe this is G7 Mirage's first series lost as well. So through 2 seasons as well. So I mean, I'm calling tilt right now. I'm going to say they're going to fall off the face of the earth due to mental issues, but.
You know what? I understand that you've been snorting that really good stuff, PBS, but G7 Mirage is a staple. Their mountain house, their best house. They're coming back. They're going to end first place in the regular split, and then they're going to take it all in the playoffs.
Wait, G7 Mirage is mountain house? I thought they were Infernal.
No,
yeah, they're Infernal.
Oh, then someone's lying to me. And never mind, then screw them. I don't care about G7 no more. They're out of here.
I remember G7M and Akuma both got Infernal, and now everybody was like, "Oh, it's just over."
Oh, then someone's spying in my mountain house, and I don't like it.
Well, another big storyline is the fact that I put EPP 5th, and you put them 2nd.
Yep, I have some connections to the players on that team, so I gotta put my boys on CPP as 2nd. They're using that 10-man roster as well. I think that's a huge advantage. So,
actual bias, not even hiding it anymore.
Nope, not hiding it.
Sounds to me like favoritism.
Not hiding it. I was just waiting for G7 to lose a series so I can put them super low.
Here's why I put CPP so low. Out of all the 2-1 teams, they have played Nightless, who they lost to. They played Redbird. And they played Team Ambition Glory. So to me, they haven't really proven themselves. Whereas Nightless has played G7M, beat them, played OGW, lost 2-1 there, and then played CPP and beat them. So putting the Nightless below CPP seems a little crazy after Nightless beat them. G7M has beaten OGW in Puds and then lost to Nightless. AKM has beaten Puds, TAG, and Redbird. Wait, AKM has literally been unchallenged this season.
Yep. Even on stream.
Wow.
Easy. I mean, they did lose a game to FUDs, so.
That is crazy. OGW, they've beaten Nightless, which has beaten almost everybody else. And they've beaten Redbird, and they lost to G7M. So there's kind of a triangle between G7M, OGW, and Nightless. But to me, Nightless looks like the best 2-1 team. If they could stop going 3 games, they'd probably do a lot better. But next up for me would be OGW. And then I again, CPP just hasn't proven themselves yet to me. They could be the best 2-1 team, but they haven't played anyone yet, so it's hard to say. We'll find out this week, though, when they play AKM.
Yep,
That would be
that'll
the
be a
first
hype
test.
matchup.
Yeah, that'll be the first test for both teams. So I'm excited to see that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, we pretty much have the bottom three all figured out.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we talked about this before. How there feels like a group of 5, and then there's a 6th place, and then a bottom 2. You know, it feels like there's 3 different divisions here in skill level. Not to say like Team Ambition Glory should be counted out because they are 4 and 5. They do take games off of these top teams, so they definitely feel like they're a playoff contender. But the top 5 teams feel like each of them could beat everyone, and that's what makes Senior so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Puds has also taken a single game off of every single team they've played. I think they've played what? Akuma, G7, and I don't know what the other team
TAG.
is, but TAG. I mean, yeah, I mean they're taking wins. Like it's not like they're falling too short like Redbird. So
So is TAG. So yeah, I guess that's true. I guess yeah.
it's a battle for 6th between TAG and Puds. I'm gonna say.
Well, the fact that TAG beat Puds already this season is a huge leg up
True,
on them.
it is.
So, all right, yeah, I think that we covered about everything here. I do want to ask you, why do you disrespect Nightless so much? Can you please
I don't.
explain?
All right. So my theory behind this, Akuma's first. That's just
Right.
my opinion.
Okay.
So I have my personal bias with CPP, so I'll put them second. And then I think Nightless, OGW, and G7 are all like interchangeable, kind of like they're all the same power. Like they could each beat each other pretty easily. I just happen to think OGW is better than Nightless. They did beat them, so
I mean, Nightless did beat CPP.
yeah. And then OGW beat Nightless.
Okay. All right. You know what? I think we've gotten to the point.
Junior time.
Yeah. Wait. Do you have any comments here, Rednick?
I mean, from watching the senior games, I've spectated in the other ones that weren't being streamed. I mean, I agree definitely with y'all are saying. It seems like there is that hierarchy. I'm hoping that there's some kind of dark horse towards the end of the season to shake things up. But I feel like things are going to kind of shake out the way we expect them to.
We also had a really hot take coming in from AKM X Fluke. AKM sucks, put them 8th. So we know how to. I'm pretty sure, like, that's just not a meme. PVS will just put you 8th now.
Yep.
So.
Well, I mean,
Redbird
from the
first.
horse's mouth. I'm guessing maybe there's some implosion, some happened with the team that they're just gonna like back out for the season. So.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we heard it here first.
Do you like Garen? Yeah, I mean he's pretty cool. It's kind of hot, pretty muscular. I'd kiss him probably.
All right. With that, let's go over to the junior rankings.
Okay.
Not actually a lot of changes in the junior power rankings. Obviously, we still have BBC and CB Rush tied for first, same as last week.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
You couldn't put it any other way. We have OG Unknown and Air Esports Revival tied at third. Zenigma Reapers dropping 2 spots into the 5th spot. My Tourney Collective at 6th, as well as with Nameless Empire. And Catalyst Eclipse has yet to find a game, so they are sitting in last.
Y'all still sleeping on Nameless. See, they're the best 1 and 2 team. I'm calling it. This is the week of the comeback.
Not only am I sleeping on Nameless, I'm fucking zonked. I'm on like 8 Ambien on Nameless, bro. Like, it's looking real bad, bro. I'm just saying, it doesn't look very good for Nameless right now. But before we hop into that, let's talk about again. You PVS.
Yes.
Put PVC in second.
Yep, I did.
And after the fact that BBC 2-0'd CB Rush.
Doesn't matter. CB Rush is scaling, dude. I think BBC is losing this week, so they're gonna be even on record.
BBC is losing to Zenar.
Yep.
Zenar just.
I think I predicted that.
CBR.
Let me see. Where is it? I do have them losing actually to Zenar, 2-1.
Oh.
That would be spicy. That would definitely shake things up. I am definitely a Zenigma fanboy because they are the real Mountain House, unlike those fakers from G7. So that'd be fun to see. I think that could definitely shake up a lot of the standings.
The, I would say something like if BBC loses to ZenR, I'll eat a shoe. But the thing is, BBC would fuck around and just lose, just to see
That's
me
what
eat
I'm
a shoe.
saying.
So,
Like, I think they're going to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that. But I think BBC is clearly the first team. CB Rush for me is the second. Um, OG Unknown looking very good, taking that win over MTC. MTC kind of my dark horse. I think they're the best 1 and 2 team right now. And their only losses to BBC. So I'm kind of looking forward to OG Unknown versus CBR in week 7. That would be a really hype matchup. And then go ahead.
So the only disappointment is that it is week 7. You have to wait so
Yeah.
long to see that game.
Exactly. And you never know. Maybe OG loses like the next 3 series, and so it's not hype anymore. But
True,
like,
true. That'd be
but
It's hype
amazing.
like,
right now.
let's say they stay undefeated, that would be super hype, you know. So next we have Air Esports Revival. Very respectable team. Like they're clearly not at the bottom. They've
Yep.
beaten Nameless Empire, they've beaten Catalyst Eclipse, and they lost 2-1 to My Tourney. So to me, they feel like a playoff team. They've played all of the lower teams, and they've come out 2-1, right? So
Yep.
that's probably enough to get into playoffs, to be honest.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you already have an 0-3 team, so
Right, and you have all the tiebreakers between the bottom teams, so pretty good start for Air Esports.
yeah.
Right
Welcome
now.
to playoffs, Air Esports. See you in week 1.
But those games were so close, though. I mean, I don't feel like they really smacked anybody. I mean, you said yourself they were 2-1, so
Right,
I
but
mean,
I
it could
didn't
have
put them
just been a tip of the
third.
hat.
I didn't put them third. I put them fourth because they are like 2-1. They're like, to me, they're the worst 2-1 team. But I can't like argue putting them below a 1-2 team because they've beaten all of them. So like it doesn't make sense for
Yep.
me to do so. I think if Air kind of gets exposed against Omega Gaming Unknown this week, then we'll have like a better idea. I think if that happens, then we'll have just like the top 3 versus the bottom 5. I genuinely think if OG is able to like convincingly smack Air and BBC is like convincingly smack ZenR, then I think we have like top 3 versus bottom 5. Like genuinely.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And then ZenR, you know, they started the season off really good. And they've been sliding a little bit. They had tough opponents. They took 1 game off of OG Unknown and then they got 2-0'd by CBR. But you have faith
Yep, I do.
that they're going to beat BBC this week.
Hopium.
Lots of hopium, lots of copium too. But
This is going to
there
be
is
the
some
start of the
hopium.
BBC slide. Zenar is going to take them, and then they're just going to fall downhill.
You know, I think
that mental kaboom is
G7
going to happen.
G7 and BBC are one in one mind. You know, like they're if one drops, the other is gonna drop. That's my theory.
Okay. I think it's a little silly. I also think if BBC lost out at this point, they'd probably just still make playoffs. So
Oh yeah, 3 wins
I-
for sure.
yeah, I know it's not like 100% according to the Foldy sheet, but I think there would have to be some very fringe cases where they don't make playoffs.
It'd be spicy.
Yeah. And then so MTC, you talk about them real quick. They did get 2-0'd by Nameless Empire. Nameless Empire's only win. And then they got 2-1 against OG Unknown, and they won 2-1 against Air. So their match against Nameless Empire kind of feels like sore thumbs sticking out, right? Because they played the other 2 decent teams pretty well, and then they got 0-2'd by Empire.
Oh, you never
Question
know.
is, Rednick, what's going on with Empire? Like, are they just sandbagging or like?
I mean, like their game was the one stream, and they were close games. It was not a blowout. It was not like it was a hard diff. I think that it was just kind of that one first game that really kind of shook things up a little bit. So I think the 2 losses are gonna be it. I think Nameless Empire goes undefeated from here on out.
Oh, okay. Even I don't have that much copium.
I have all
I
the
mean,
copium in the world.
they play CE, then OG Unknown, and then CPR, and then BBC. I mean, that is kind of like climbing the ladder, right? Like they're starting from the bottom and then working their way to the top.
Now we're here.
So they're gonna gain their confidence against CE because I mean they're not really a
Right.
team. BBC's gonna slide off after losing to
Wow.
AER. CB Rush is just gonna be like a knock on the rifle. Like I mean, it makes perfect sense. We just need ZNR to take down BBC this week, and it's over.
I will also say that CE has played like the three of the toughest teams in the league, so their season's about to get a lot easier. There is hopium in me that they can pull off a comeback. They can easily take 2 or 3 of these next 4 series if they play well. So, not counting them out yet. It might be a USC kind of situation going on. But on that note, we can move over to sophomore if you want.
All right, sophomore Division 2 first.
All right, okay, Division 2.
Yeah. All right, so sitting at first, 3-0 so far. Min Potato, Project Maverick, and OMTZ tied for second. TAGA is at fourth. We have a tie for fifth between Revenge Esports and Spiders on Stilts, and RAR actually. And then QGB has yet to find a game win this series, so they are sitting by themselves at 8.
Yeah, so kind of an update. QGB doing a big roster overhaul.
Yes.
So we're not really sure what's going on there. Maybe they'll get better. Maybe they'll drop out. It's hard to say. They have quite a few string of games that are pretty tough. They have to play Revenge and then Mint, and then RAR, which is winnable, and then TAGA, which would be pretty difficult. But highlights of this power ranking so far: Mint Potato, very clearly number 1. They did take that 2-0 over PM, which was probably the closest 2-0 I've seen in a long time. Project Maverick like really threw that first game, and PM had like a good chance to win the second game.
Series was a blast.
What's that?
So the series was a blast.
Yeah, the series was quite the banger. Especially because it looked like PM was just gonna win that first game like really easy. And to touch on what Jason Cripps says in chat, he doesn't think Potato stays undefeated, and I'm gonna have to agree because I think they lose this week to OMTZ. OMTZ has 1 loss, which was an FF, because of situations. So they haven't really lost yet. They would essentially be another 3-0 team if it weren't for that situation. It'll be quite a fun match to see how Mint and OMTZ play against each other this week. You have OMTZ at third. I've got them at second. Is there any reason why you think PM is better than OMTZ?
I'm still on the PM hype train. You know, I recognize the players. I know what they're capable of. I think PM is gonna at least make playoffs and then make a really deep run. So,
okay,
I'll put them second.
I mean, hold on. I just want to say, okay, I don't think anyone disagrees that PM makes playoffs. I asked why you put them better than OMTZ.
Oh, because they're better than OMTZ.
Oh, okay.
Straight up.
I mean, I will say, as someone that's played against PM last season, they are a very good team. But I mean, if we're going just based off logos alone, which I know is how PVZ does all his rankings, he has a Spartan helmet. Like, how is that better than how is an M better than a Spartan helmet? So
you need to know the story behind the M.
OMTZ is just gonna take it over.
Yeah, they're clearly Smash Brothers players, so they just stole the Smash Brothers Project M logo, and that's
there's a backstory, dude.
Okay, sure. Fourth place, we have solidly TAGA. So me and you kind of agree. Why would you? What is this prediction?
Because everyone thinks I just put TAW low every time, so you know.
Okay.
We'll give them a yes or no.
TAGA, I think they got 2-0 by Mint, right? And they haven't really played anybody else that's really tough so far. So we kind of have them solidly at 4th. I think you would agree, right?
Yep. I mean, that's where I put them.
Right. And then with the next 3, are all tied for 5th because me and you have Revenge and RAR swapped. Can you tell me why RAR is 5th?
I can tell you why Revenge is or not 5th.
Okay.
They don't have El Kazuchi anymore.
Is that true? That's not true.
He's
Is
gone
he
now.
back? Last
He
we saw he left.
He left, but he came back to play a series.
Did he?
Yeah.
And then
I
what
mean, that
happened then?
does
They
change
lost?
And they never removed him from the roster. So I think he's just, he's just coming in and out of the.
He left
Well, I mean,
the
still not being in the
Discord.
Discord server is a pretty telling story that there's something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know. Maybe he just had a bad day.
Left Discord.
So did they win the game after he came back? Did they win that series?
No, they lost to TAG. But if he stays, Revenge plays UGB and SOS, and if they can just win those 2, they're basically in playoffs.
They could beat UGB. I don't think they beat SOS.
I think
Okay.
SOS will be close. You said QGB is completely doing a roster rehaul, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not too surprising considering aren't they still a lot of them like silver players? Didn't they kind of think based off their standings in RA freshmen that they could handle sophomore teams and then it kind of fell off from there?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the reason they're doing the roster rehaul is because behind the scenes stuff. I don't think it's because of their performance. Which is why we don't know if they're roster rehauling or just dropping. So
Right.
But yeah. I think the battle for the 4th slot might get interesting. There is a chance that the top 4 could just completely separate themselves from the bottom 4 this week, and it'll be really hard. So I think I don't know.
What do you
I
think?
just watch OMTG versus Mid this week. That's all. That's all
True.
I'll say.
I think
watch
next
it.
week when we're sitting here with the updated rankings, I think it'll be fairly solidified. I think everyone will kind of know where they stand next week.
Yeah. A lot of the bottom teams play each other, so yeah, that'll be. We'll figure it out. Actually, a lot of the top teams play the bottom teams, so there could be a lot of separation. Okay, let's go to Division 1. We got some impatient people.
All right.
I'm down.
Division
Jason.
1. All right.
Division 1's
So
not that important.
at first place, first time ever, Team Ambition Wolves. Second place, we got Krakens of Love. Third, tied for third actually, is OMTH and TDS. At fifth, we have the Blue Sprouts. Sixth, Nameless Fantasy. Redbird Club Junior Academy dropping 3 spots to 7th, and Zenigma Zenith have forfeited quite a few games, so they are sitting solidly in 8th.
Yeah, they forfeited 1 series, but they've earned their other 2 losses.
Yep.
You know who's not earning losses? Team Ambition Wolves. Nice segue. They have clearly beaten everyone pretty handily. I will say that I think if they weren't 3-0, I don't think I would have them first. And the reason is they've only played like bottom 4. And this is not a shot at TAW or saying like they're bad or anything. It's just that they've played Zen Z, Nameless, and BSP. And BSP was like the hardest opponent they played. So
Who do they play this week?
they play OMTH. So and there's a lot of drama going around that series. So
I guess that'll kind of figure it out. So it'll show if they deserve to be at the top or if they just took a couple fluke wins.
I mean, none of their wins were flukes. That's for sure. I think they definitely earned their wins. It's just that the opponents weren't that impressive. So
Right, they were up to standard.
Great. AOL coming in second after losing very surprisingly to TDS. The Donut Shop was kind of looking like a middling team. You know, they lost to the Redbird Club Junior Academy, and then they had a FF win against Enigma Zenith. And then all of a sudden they come out and beat KOL when KOL was looking like a team to beat.
All those results, and I don't know if you get, I don't know how many people really went over them, but that game one where they just get stomped by KOL, but then they made that roster swap in the jungle, and then they came back games 2 and 3, and then it didn't even look like the same team anymore. It was shocking how big that change was made.
Yeah, for sure. Another important thing to note: TH, you know, their only loss was against KOL. They have to play TAW. If they beat TAW, then we kind of have like this three-way tie for first, right? Like,
Yep.
Depending on how KOL does. Who do they play
right.
this week?
They play ZenZ, so it's like free.
That's free win for
Okay.
him.
Yeah. No offense to ZenZ players.
Well, they gotta play the series. That's the thing.
They gotta win a game before we can consider them. But yeah, it's hard to say. I think what's interesting that's shaping up here is that donut shop win was absolutely humongous.
Yeah.
But humongous.
Yep.
And BSP's win was solid. And I think that is the battle, right? That's the fourth place battle. Nameless would have to beat someone pretty good to kind of enter that conversation. They'll have a chance to prove themselves against like ISU and then TDS and then KOL and then BSP. Their second half of their season's really
That
rough.
is rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
But
one that kind of has the behind the scenes knowledge there. Thankfully, their roster is starting to solidify. There's quite a few roster swaps there in the beginning, which we all know playing with new players and a new team makes things rough and difficult. So hopefully, with the solidified roster going forward, they can kind of start building that confidence up.
I mean, hopefully. I agree, hopefully. But we'll have to see. Right now, to me, it looks like we have a top three that could solidly going to make playoffs. And then the fourth spot could be between 2 or 3 teams. And but I'm really interested in how BSP they play the donut shop this week. So
That could be like playoff deciding series right there.
it literally could be the difference of making playoffs or not. I think if BSP, I'm gonna say it. I think it is. If BSP loses to TDS, I think they just are not in playoffs, like straight up.
That's easily like possible too. Like that's not like unthinkable.
Right, because it just the gap just becomes 2 games at that point. That's a hard gap to make up with 3 weeks left. So, assuming everybody else performs like
As
standard,
expected.
yeah, that would be like really
feel
tough
like-
for BSP to come back.
As it kind of stands right now, it's almost like from TDS down to Redbird, they're all kind of fighting for that one last little spot. And this week, I think will almost decide everything. I think next week for sophomores coming back here, basically everything will be flat laid out. This week,
Yeah.
I think with the win losses, it'll put people too far or too high, and I think we'll know kind of everything.
Yeah, I think you're right because Nameless also plays ISU, so whoever wins there will enter that conversation, and then if BSP beats TDS, then you have 3 2-2 teams fighting for that last spot. So yeah, I think you're right. This week is very crucial for Division 1, very crucial. So, on that note, I think I mean, did you make any wild claims here? Oh, you did put TDS 5th. Is there a reason you
Yep.
put the Donut Shop 5th?
So I think BSP is gonna like beat them. So I had to put them below. I mean, just based on how the rankings work, BSP
okay.
would be 4th, TDS is 5th. Because I think the top
Nice.
3 are just far ahead of the other.
Right. I think Blue Sprouts. I think if Blue Sprouts does well against, if they beat TDS and then they play well against KOL, I think Blue Sprouts can enter that conversation like legitimately.
Yep.
Because I think we all know that Blue Sprouts has a lot of potential. We've seen their players before. They've done really well in the past. So if they can get it together and pull off really good performances these next 2 weeks, then I think they just enter that conversation.
I have to say, I think your picks, Red, are spicy. TDS second and OMTEH fourth. I think that those should be reversed.
I mean, you might be right there. You might be right there. I just thought TDS beating KOL was just so big.
That's definitely out of left field. I definitely agree with you there.
I value head-to-head matchups a lot, especially if teams are tied in match record. I think if you've beaten someone like to me it was like, oh well, TDS beat KOL and KOL beat OMTH, so TDS better than OMTH, right? That's how it just worked out. That's why I had 2-3-4 that way. But I think on that note, we can go to Freshman Division 2.
Okay. No, a lot of freshmen sticking around for these. So in Division 2, we have BDES sitting at first. They have not dropped a game yet this season. Second, we have Shogun Hunters. Third, Corvus Blades. Corvus Blade. Tie at fourth for RAR Silvers and TD Shadow. Sixth, we have Glacial Esports Spectre. And seventh, we have Imperium.
Yeah. I think this is kind of straightforward, right? I think we only disagree on one. And it's just the 4-5 slot.
I mean, that is the playoff slot.
That is true. That is true. I think it's very straightforward. BDES is 2-0 to every team they played against. They've played, not the worst teams. So it's respectable. Shogun has gotten 2 FF wins.
Yep.
2 FF wins. And they went 2-1 against RAR Silver. So it's really hard to gauge where they are in terms of strength. So they're just kind of second because they're 3-0. As a formality.
I have heard that BDES does plan to FF to Shogun this week as well. They're kind of hoping that they just kind of float through playoffs without playing a single game. So that's kind of where we're at.
That kind of did happen last season in with LEO and sophomore. They had like 3 FFs, I think. They only played like 2 series. But yeah, so I mean, there is a possibility, but that was a 5-week season, right? So it's a lot harder to do in a 7-week. Get that many FFs.
True.
In third, in third place we got Corvus. Corvus just lost 2-0 to BDES, which was probably like the toughest opponent they've played all season for both sides. And it was kind of convincing. So BDES locking in that first. Corvus didn't drop down that much because the strength of their opponent was so strong. Losing to them wasn't really a big hit. In college football, we would call that a quality loss. But some big headlines coming in. RARS, they just got a FF win. And they play TDS this week. This week, bro.
Yep.
And you know who else plays this week? Shogun Hunters versus BDES. I'm loving how this week is shaping up.
Yeah, there's a hype
big
week.
Matchups. Yeah.
We'll learn if Shogun deserves their spot, and we'll see kind of where that 4th spot shakes out.
Exactly. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, look at the other 2 teams, Glacial Esports Spectre, Imperium. It's not impossible, but they have no wins.
Yeah.
So
they would have to win every single game for the rest of the season to hope for a tiebreaker.
Right, exactly. Because one of these 4th place teams is guaranteed 1 more win. So actually, I think TDS is guaranteed a win regardless because they still have an FF win.
Oh, because
they haven't grabbed. Yeah, because they haven't grabbed that one yet. And so, I mean, if RAR wins, then both of those teams have 3 wins by the end of the season.
It does look like Glacial and Imperium also need to pick up that free win, so they're technically sitting at 1 and 3.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true. I think the be all end all is that just win Forehead, and you'll make playoffs. So,
don't lose games, and you have a better chance of getting there.
That's true. True. I think yeah. I mean, we're talking about a potential matchup for the 1st seed in playoffs, and then a potential matchup for the last seed.
Yep.
You do have to.
You do have to remember. So 4th place plays against 1st place from Division 1. So if you get fourth, you're gonna have a real rough playoff start at least.
Right, but you know what? You know what? Fifth place from Division Two plays in playoffs.
Nobody.
Nobody.
True.
Oh, it's better to be fourth than fifth by a long shot.
I'd rather go out in playoffs than know that we missed it by one game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is gonna be do or die. I'm hoping RAR. I'm hoping these guys schedule at a time where we can stream them. That would be really hype.
True.
We got a
You
lot
have
of good
two
matches.
really
this
high
week.
potentials this week. BDS, Shogun, Rars, TD, and then I don't even know who's playing in Division One.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? On that note, I think we could go to Division One.
Yeah. All right. So we have a 2-team tie at first place between Zenigma Unknown and Kingpin Gaming. Sitting at a tie for third is Shogun 2077 and BDED. Fifth, we have QGK. Sixth, we have Flannel. Seventh, we have Nameless Existence. And eighth, I believe they've only played one series, Paradise Lost.
And I will put in an update because it's not shown here. Because we do these power rankings kind of like the day, like Monday. We do them like, and we ignore any week 4 results. So QGK did play Nameless Existence already this week, and they beat them 2-1. So QGK is at 2-2, and Nameless Existence is at 0-4.
That was a banger of
Ouch.
a series.
Yeah,
That was really close, and save for like a few, like 1 or 2 misplays from Nameless's side, they could have won that game 3. So that was really surprising. I mean, kudos to Nameless for being able to take a game off QGK like that, but it's definitely surprising that QGK was so close to dropping the series to Nameless, considering they're thinking about being playoff contenders.
well, they're not thinking about it anymore. They are playoff contenders. Being 2-2 is pretty big in this division. I think QGK probably got one of the biggest wins they're gonna have also. Right? It was definitely like a must-win game because they played 2077. They played BDED still. They do play against Paradise Lost, so that they have a chance of getting a win there. But the other two opponents are just like, it's gonna be tough, like big time. So getting that win against Nameless is really good. It's also really bad for Nameless. I think their percentage dropped.
0-4 is
yeah.
They also have to 3-0 out for the remainder of the weeks to be consistent.
Right. There's no way they can get in playoffs now. I'm looking at the photo sheet right now. There's no way they can get in playoffs without a tiebreaker. So they would need to perform like at their best, and they would need some teams to
I'm at the
worse.
worst.
Yeah, who do they play here? They got Kingpin, 2077, and Paradise. So
Yeah.
I'd expect a 1-2 for them for the rest of the season.
Yeah. But they could start this week, you know. They beat
You never know.
Kingpin.
If they beat Kingpin, then it changes everything. Because I think Kingpin and Enigma are everybody's 100% their top 2 there. Don't even look at it, they're going through. So if Nameless can take out Kingpin, then I think that changes everything.
Yeah.
And, Zenigma
I bet my mama that they don't though.
Zenigma and Kingpin play in week 6, so not too far away from seeing that matchup. Maybe we can get that one streamed.
Fun game. That's gonna be streamed.
But you know who does play this week? BDED versus Kingpin.
True.
And that should be a hype matchup.
That'll be another really good one. I think that for the playoffs or Division 1, I think it will be this top 4. I think it'll Enigma, Kingpin, Shogun, and BDD. And I think that if BDD beat Kingpin this week, then it'll be kind of really telling.
Yeah, I think Kingpin's gonna have a lot of tests like coming up. Kingpin has played Flannel, Paradise Lost, FF Win, and QGK. Okay, they have to play BDED and then Nameless, which has a lot to prove, right? We just talked about that.
Yeah.
And then Enigma and then 2077. So they have to play the other 3 in the top 4. They have yet to play them. So they're going to get tested quite a bit this last
Also,
half.
that's interesting because Shogun and BDD have already played. Shogun and Enigma have already played. And I think hasn't BDD and Enigma played as well? Or no?
No, BDD and Enigma play next week, not this
Next
week.
week. So,
Yeah.
but at this point, basically everyone in the top 4 has played each other except Kingpin.
Right. So they're going to get tested. And that's why I have them second. I think they are pretenders to the throne.
But they have a crown on their logo.
Right. I think that's a stolen crown. I think it's plastic. I think it's a Burger King crown right now. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair.
Until they can make it solid gold, then they beat NU. They'd have to be BDED and ZenU for me to think of them as the top team.
Easy.
Well,
Sure.
and something else I've heard that might be kind of pushing up is I guess I've heard through back channels that Flannel's also redoing their entire roster. So if they come in brand new, then they could be a completely different team than we've seen these first 3 weeks too.
I would say Flannel looked good last week too. Maybe they just needed scaling. Maybe they just needed scale.
I mean, it's a little rough to scale in 7 weeks, but
Right. But I mean, everything else we agree on except for the top and the 3 and the 4. I just think Shogun looks a little better because they actually beat BDD. But I understand because some
you
people
already know
think
my reasoning.
That's a fluke win. Some people would say.
No, you already know
because
my
it was-
exact reasoning.
Oh. Also, PVS hates Tafiki. So
Just
it is
happy
a
to
little.
be-
Tafiki gap.
It's
At
a
this
little
moment-
strange that you bully a 13-year-old kid, PBS. I'm not gonna lie, but you know,
As someone
you
that
do
knows
you,
Tafiki,
homie.
he deserves it. It's okay. All of us as Shogun understand.
As someone who's read Tafiki's tweets, yeah, he deserves. it.
As someone who lost last week because Tafiki bailed on him to play baseball, and so he had to use an
Oh
e-sub,
my God.
I understand it.
Oh, jeez, blaming your team. Oh, that's You should have carried anyway, bro. Should have carried anyway.
True. My Lux mid is just not as cracked as it used to be.
Oh, we've all been there. The Lux mid situation. But yeah, I think we agree on the top 4. So I'm like super excited for because like after this week, everything's gonna shape out. We're gonna kind of know who's making playoffs, and we could start talking about potential playoff matches.
Yep.
I think it'll
But
be.
this week's gonna decide a lot.
I think we've said that for every single division. So
I
next
know.
week is gonna be fun.
I didn't even realize until we started going through it, like how
Right?
hyped some of these matches are. So, but this week for this division, there's only really one good matchup. It's BDED versus Kingpin.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that Flannel 2077 one might be interesting. Who knows? So
I'm excited to play against the new team. I mean, you never really know what you're gonna get. They might not have too much experience with each other, or they could just all be cracked Silver 1 Smurfs and you just get wrecked.
true, Smurfing and RA.
Yeah.
Dog.
They might just all be cynical playing on 5 computers.
Anyone else Smurfing / Elo sitting in RA? Go ahead, raise your hands in the chat. I promise
Yeah,
I won't
please.
do anything.
Please post that in general and or Twitch chat. We
Yeah,
just started making notes. There will be no punishment.
Yeah, there'd be no punishment. Oh, Doho. Okay, nice to know. Thank you, sir. But on that note, I think we can go to predictions. Did you do
All
your
right.
predictions this week?
Yes, I did. I did do them.
He did his
Okay.
homework. We are all proud.
All right, I'll swap over to that scene now.
Okay.
All right. So, which ones would you like to do here?
Let's just do freshmen.
Okay.
Go in order.
So, going down the list here. So you think BDED is gonna beat Kingpin 2-1? I have the opposite. QGK, we both agree is gonna 2-1 Nameless.
Because that match already happened. Yes.
That's exactly what we thought was gonna happen.
Oh, true. We predicted it.
Zenu, Pal, I mean, don't really have to talk about that one too much. 2077 and FNL, you think 2077 is going to beat them 2-0. I think FNL is going to get one win. Next matchup, we have TDS versus RAR. Silvers, I think. And I have TDS 2-0, you have them 2-1. Next match didn't matter. We both have CRVZ winning. You have GS taking one game, though. And Shogun versus BDS. I have Shogun winning 2-1. You have BDS winning 2-1.
Yes.
Played against both those teams. I think BDS. I'm Shogun. I love my boys, but I mean that team is just cracked. Like they're not to be slept on. I could see them going all the way.
Yeah. I think BDS is like the top contender for freshmen. Like,
Yeah, out of
without
both
a doubt.
divisions, I think they're the
Yeah.
best team.
I do think. I think if they were in Division 1, they'd be undefeated, and I think Division 2 is weaker than Division 1. I said it, come at me. But Division 2 looks way weaker than Division 1.
I mean,
it also helps that
I
the
think that's,
Division
like,
2
kinda-
only has 7 teams. Division 2 only has 7 teams. So.
Yes, I don't think that's a hot take. I think everyone kind of sees Division 1 as the spicier division.
Yeah. I think if you swapped BDS and BDED, I think both of those teams would be undefeated in Division 2. So,
Yeah.
but
And
the
I think
difference is that I also think BDS would be undefeated in Division 1 if they were in that division. So,
Without a doubt.
yeah.
If they had the same lineup that BDED had, I think that they'd still be undefeated.
Yep. But we mostly agree. You have Kingpin though. I told you my thoughts. I think they're pretenders to the throne. And they haven't been tested yet. But is there a real big reason why you think maybe BDED is worse?
Not necessarily. I just I go by what I think is gonna happen this week. You know, I think Kingpin is a pretty solid roster. I mean, sure they've played the weaker teams, but then they've won. That they've tested, they've proven that they can win. So, and I think they're gonna take down BDED.
Okay. And why Shogun again over BDED?
As Dojo said in chat, I bet against them every week. So.
Oh, you have issues? I got you.
Of course.
So
And this is the
what you're
team that
telling me-
Tafiki's not on.
I'll say what you're telling me is if Tafiki was on the other Shogun, you'd actually rate my team appropriately rather than marking us down all the time. All right, good to know. We'll take care of some roster issues tonight then.
Okay. So for sophomore, the guest is Rednick. Sorry. For sophomore, I have KOL versus Zenzi. We both very clearly think KOL is going to 2-0 Zenzi. Because of I think very obvious reasons.
Yep.
We both have TAW beating OMTH 2-1, which is supposed to be one of the spicier matchups. And I kind of want to change it now. I kind of want OMTH to win.
Wow.
After recent developments, but I've already locked it in, so I'm not going to change it.
And I'll be the devil's advocate for you, Ed. I'm diehard on TH, so I think it's actually going to be 2-0. I don't even think they're going to lose the game.
Oh, really? Okay. I like that take. I like that take a lot. BSP, we both have winning. I think TDS is going to win one game. Because, again, I think that matchup is going to be quite a banger. So,
I do too. I could honestly see it going either way. I definitely think it'll be 2-1, but I could honestly see a scenario where TDS pulls out the dub.
Oh, PVS leaked his phone number.
Nuclear codes.
Nuclear codes in the chat, so nobody look at those. Nameless versus ISU. I kind of believe in ISU still. I'm still a believer in ISU. You are clearly not. But we both think it's going to be a 3-game series. Revenge versus QGB. We took Revenge 2-0 for, I think, very obvious reasons. And then these next two matchups, we differ, you know. I got TAGA 2-0ing SOS, and you have them SOS winning in 3.
It's Spider Week. It's time for them to win. It's time for them to win. I want to see them make playoffs.
Okay.
It took me a minute.
Yeah, I was very confused, but okay. And then, again, another banger matchup, OMTZ versus Mint. I have them 2-1. You have it 1-2 for Mint. I think we both know why we picked the way we did.
I told you, it's all about the Spartan helmet. Mint has a cool name, but a lame logo.
You know what? As someone who worked in Photoshop with Mint's logo, I'm gonna agree. That logo is very annoying. So I'm going with OMTH. OMTZ. And again, I think OMTZ's one loss was kind of a fluke because it was an FF loss. So I think these are two undefeated teams going against each other, and I gotta back the boys in black. And then we have PM winning 2-0 over RAR for I think probably obvious reasons.
Yep.
Not that RAR can't make playoffs. Just point that out.
I just think
PM
PM's
just
better.
looks that good. Yeah, PM just looks that good. So, you want to do Junior?
Yeah. So we do differ a little bit on this one. Especially for the first one, I have Empire winning. You have Catalyst winning. 3-game series either way. I have Zenigma Reapers 2-1ing VVC. You have 2-0 VVC. I have Air winning 2-1. You have OG winning 2-1, and I have CBR 2-0 as well as you do.
Yeah, I think the CBR one seems very clear. We thought maybe CBR would go on a slide after their loss to BBC. No, they did not. They're very clearly fine with their mental. So I think if they didn't lose to ZNR, then they're not going to lose to MVP. Then Air versus OG. I think OG looks better. They played better teams. They've won against better teams. But again, we talked about that this is a pretty important match. So, in terms of seeding, at least, because I think they're tied, right? So,
Yep.
If OG ends up winning, I think that the gap just never closes. I think that they're a better team. And then what's that?
So looking at everything, I think PVS has week 4. I think it'll be Empire, Xenar. It'll be the beginning of the
Of course
BBC
you're gonna pick
decline.
Empire. Of course you're gonna pick Empire and ZR. They're in your house.
Empire's not in my house, but they're my boys. I can't really against my
Right.
own org.
They're your boys, and then the other team's in your house. So of course you would side with them. I think CE. I believe in my boy Arden. Okay, they're gonna get it together. They're gonna finish the season strong, and I think they're gonna take a couple wins. They're my USC this split. I'm all ending on it. And
Do you think it's Dark Horse time?
Yeah, for sure. And then, as Kenrick has pointed out in the chat, this is a pretty bad take from you, PVS. Would you like to comment on why you think Xenar is going to win?
Because PVS is the smartest man that's ever lived.
I have unlocked my brain to a
100%.
higher potential.
He's using 100% of his brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a smart brain, but it's a brain.
He's seeing universes that haven't even existed yet.
Yep.
That's why he picked Xenar over people.
So this is actually the PVS from next week. He actually went back in time. He knows the results already, and those are all just completely 100%.
Don't leak that. Don't leak that.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, Doc.
Is that what he told you? Because Crack does have like some visual hallucination. So
yes, it does.
And we know he's really hard on that one for sure.
I mean, you'll see like by the senior as well. So.
Okay. Oh yeah. Let's go over to senior on that note. We got Nightless versus Puds. We both take 2-1. I think in any other world we would have taken them 2-0, but the fact is Puds keeps
it's Puds,
the
dude.
game.
It's Puds.
Puds keeps winning one game, so we have to give them the courtesy win. AKM versus CPP. You got CPP 2-1. AKM versus I got AKM 2-1. But I will say, if CPP beats AKM, I mean that would just the senior would be so wild.
That's what I'm predicting right there.
Absolutely insane. And G7M versus Redbird, we got both 2-0, and then OGW versus TA Glory, we got 2-0 for OGW. So last two are very straightforward. The second one is where we differ, and I think that'll be very spicy match.
Dude, PVS picks the fun ones.
The fun ones.
No, he doesn't.
PBS has the fun, interesting takes.
He flips a coin. It's not interesting.
What?
It's not. It's not intellectual to flip a coin, dude. Come on. Come on, dude.
It was tails, so Xenar wins and CPP wins.
Exactly. That's the only way you can explain these things, dude. That's literally the only way you can explain. If you know, if it wasn't an FF win for Imperial, he probably would have picked the FF team because it probably landed heads.
What are we gonna do when it's a week from now and those picks are all exactly right? I want to hear punishments. I want to hear Red eating crow.
Okay, I will.
What?
I will order a whole pizza with my fiance if he gets them all correct.
That's too
Okay.
unhealthy for you, Red.
Yeah,
What a
I know.
harsh
It's gonna be like a
punishment.
fucking broccoli pizza or some shit. Like,
Oh no, it's
Dude, it's gonna be
pepperoni.
the supreme pizza with all veggies, and then it'll be like
Pepperoni.
vegetarian, so it won't have like cheese or nothing on it.
No, it's pepperoni and bacon. Just so you're aware. 'Cause, you know, I just hate pepperoni and bacon. Okay, so I'm just
It's
making
terrible.
a sacrifice here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like it.
But on that note, I think we could just close the show. Oh wait. Outstandings. Because we forget every week.
Yep.
I didn't send you the document. But quick update. In fourth place is Cloud House. They have Team Ambition Wolves, which is currently in first. It's their only first place team. So that's a little rough. That's a little rough. Everybody, there are a couple eights on that house.
Yep.
You're gonna have to get it together. You're gonna have to get it together if they want to compete. In third place, we have Mountain House. They actually don't have any first place teams, but they have 4 second place teams: CPP, OMTZ, Enigma Unknown, and Shogun Hunters. And then they also have third place teams like 2077 and OMTH. Second place, Ocean House. They have Mint Potato and BDES kind of carrying that group, to be honest. They have OGW and Senior, which is helping them out, and they have some junior teams, but for sophomore and freshman, it's a Mint BDS carry for Ocean. Big time. And then in first place, we have Inferno. I don't think it's very surprising.
Nope.
You know? Akuma Blades, you know, they have the first seed. BBC, they have the first. I mean, come on, you read this list and it's like, really? And then, like, CV Rush in second, Krakens of Love in second, Kingpin Gaming in first. I mean, that is a really tough lineup to beat. They do have one 8th place team, Queen's Gambit Bishops, but you know,
I mean, they have 2
if
sevenths
they-
as well. So freshman kind of letting
Yeah.
them down, other than Kingpin.
It's redeemable. It's not losable. I mean, like those are teams that can position themselves higher. I think. They're not like lost causes like some of the other teams.
PBS, when are you going to admit that you cheated with Inferno House? No one actually saw you spin the wheel.
That is
So-
true. No one saw you spin the wheel.
The
When
wheel
are you
was
gonna
on
come
stream.
out
What are you
and
talking about?
admit that you
Nobody
stacked
could.
it?
Nobody could see the results from that wheel, dude.
It was just based off names that you read out. So when are you going to
Yeah.
admit on stream in front of everyone that you stacked Inferno House for $10?
$10. The teams get
Just
$50.
$10. Yeah. It's $600 prize pool, and he did a $10 prize.
PBS is cheap. He's on crack. We know this.
I'll do
He
anything for
doesn't
$10.
make the
dude.
wisest decision sometimes.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
I'm not a cheater, but $10 is $10.
You know what? I'm gonna end it. I think we should just end it there.
Yep.
So on that note, with that word of wisdom from PBS, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Please blame PBS for your power ranking. Tell him why he's wrong.
Yep. I'll be
your
waiting in
respective
banter.
chat. No slurs this time, okay? But as many drug references as you want is fine. So,
Yep.
But on that note, thanks everyone for coming. Love you all. I miss you guys. Can't wait to see you on stream Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then yeah, next week we'll know a lot. So that'll be fun. Any last words?
Not for me.
Okay. All right.
All right.
On that note, good night, everyone.
Yep. Night, y'all.
Peace out.
See y'all Friday for Freshman Friday. Yeah. See y'all later.